What's good with it in the who with it? Welcome back to the collective clips where you already know. I can do this all day. Ask her. She'll tell you, right? We really get it in. But before we get it in, let's get to this intro. Welcome back to the collective clips. If you haven't hit that like and subscribe button, make sure that you liked it and you subscribe to it, man. And we highly appreciate you. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directing the direction of the dope content that the gun is kicking. I'm very humbled by your support. Thank you. So I seen a lot of videos made last week about the 200 Venezuelans and a gaggle of MS members extradited, sent to El Salvador, right? To the super prison. Another super for you, right? A super max penitentiary like no one's ever seen before, ever. And I'm going to be totally honest with you guys, man. The treatment of these people is inhumane as fuck. But at the end of the day, it's a whole different country. Now, there's a lot of people who have an opinion on this matter. Do you honestly believe it's right in your heart of hearts, in your mind of minds, to send people that were actually snatched up in the United States to a different country to be held, to be haircut bald, head held down, drug out of the plane? I mean, it's a pretty traumatic experience. I remember being in prison, right? And getting off that bus, pulling up to Tracy, pulling up to Corcoran, pulling up to Jamestown, Susanville. And the experience is much different. Sometimes they'll have a few officers there. They're just kicking back, smoking a frajo, not even really tripping, like, get off the bus. You want to PC up or what? Nah, then go that way. I'm down, right? Then go that way, stupid. And that's pretty much how it is, right? Now, of course, if you pull it to somewhere like the SHU or places like that, they're going to show you force. I heard back in the days in Corco in the SHU, when they were having gladiator wars, these guys were presentable. They were out there like putting your face to the fucking wall and all that. Inhumane tactics. But what I seen in these videos of these guys being snatched up and being thrown in cells with no mattresses, no bedding, in boxer shorts, head cut bald, side by side with guys that want to murder you, right? It's crazy. It's a crazy situation to even think about being in, and I hate to see people going through it. But you got to understand, a lot of these individuals, out of these 200, and I think there was 30-something people that was sent from the United States to El Salvador for whatever reason, right? A lot of them are convicted murderers or in suspicion of being a murderer, rapists. I mean, there's just a gang of charges that are very heinous and detrimental to the safety and security of our communities. Let's be honest here. Now, being a gang member doesn't automatically put you in that category. I hate the people that I hear conversations when I walk around. People that are like, hey, the fuck they got a tattoo right here? Yeah, he's probably a weirdo. Nah, no, not necessarily. I used to have a tattoo right there, and I don't do weird shit, right? Look, gang members, because of the tattoos, because of the stories that are put out there, and because of a lot of things that they do, they are judged very harshly and critiqued by the community. Like, I'm going to be real. I have children. I don't want to move into a gang-infested area. Having grown up in a gang-infested area, I know what the kids are, what they could succumb to, what they see, what they can become as a product of their environment. So, of course, as a grown adult, wait, if I got a cucaracha flying around my house, as a grown adult, as a responsible parent, I don't want to put my kids in that situation around gang members and live in a gang-infested area. So I could imagine where some people are like, nah, man, we got to get these guys out of here. These guys are poison to the United States. But we're sending them to El Salvador, right? A whole different country where the president has made it a very big impact on that country, where he has made it a situation where even if you have a tattoo of a cross, you are going to this prison and you are serving life. Now, a lot of these guys have not even had a trial. They've not went to court. They've not had due process or the proper procedures when it comes to being incarcerated. People in the United States don't understand how good we have it. You hear people, I'm taking this shit to the box, right? Or I'm taking a deal. You get opportunity. even as a criminal, even as a convicted criminal, because a lot of people, the recidivism rate is crazy, right? A lot of people go in and out of jail, in and out of prison. They get right back on the streets. There's no rehabilitation, so they commit new crime. We take for granted, that the United States will even give us a public defender. I've heard so many people say, public pretender, public defender. You're lucky you even have someone to even lightweight defend you. Even if it's not the best, you're still given something. In this country, these guys are given a fucking shaved head, a pair of dirty calzones, and a hard bunk. Period. They're crammed together, nuts to butts. It's crazy to think of what these guys are going through, but this is the dredges of society. These are guys that didn't have no remorse for the people in their country, and they were doing a lot of crime. So it fits the bill for some people. I'm a firm believer in, if you're out there fucking up, because I did my time when I was fucking up, right? So I'm a firm believer that if you're out there being not a pillar of the community, but being what I would call detrimental to the safety and security of the community and society, then you deserve what you get, right? That's just straight up. Now, is this inhumane? Should Donald Trump be afforded the opportunity or, be able to do what he's doing? Well, there's a lot of people that are against it. Okay. Now, I will tell you, I am a conservative. I am very conservative. I hate lazy people. I don't enjoy lazy people living off the government or living off welfare, food stamps, things like that. I don't like it. I believe everyone should get out there and hustle, work legally, and get the things in life that they want to have by you got to toil in that soil. Go get it by your own hand. Don't rob people. Don't steal from people. Don't manipulate. Don't cheat. Don't kill people. Don't do any of that. Things that I've done in my life, so I could speak on it, because you're never going to have anything to show for it. There's not one thing in my life besides some scars and a couple bullet wounds that I could show you, from that lifestyle that I lived. I don't have a home because of that. I don't have a car because of that. I have a home and a car and everything that I've accumulated because I worked hard for it. So I'm a firm believer in the conservative part of that. There's a lot of people that feel we need to help other people. It's our obligation. I'm not obligated to help anyone. Okay, I choose to help people because my heart tells me so. My mind tells me it's the right thing to do. And having been in situations and places where I could get no help, where there was no help for me, right? I understand about being in that dark, desolate place. So, all these guys being sent over to another country, that's not even their country. 200 of these guys were Venezuelans. Now, a few months back, when they were talking about the invasion of this Venezuelan gang, what is it? Tren de Agua, right? When they came in, people were denying it. Nah, they're not taking over apartment complexes in Aurora, Colorado. Nah, that shit's fake news. Nah, this shit ain't really happening. And there was a whole bunch of people saying, no, this shit is really happening. These guys have moved in because of the open border, and they're definitely, establishing little subsets and gangs, and they're pushing a narrative. They were in Chicago, they were in Aurora, Colorado, and they were moving towards the West Coast, definitely, right? Now, my thing is this. If these guys are out there and they come from different countries where they play by different rules, rape, robbing, and pillaging is normal to them. Not saying that all of them do that, but the normality of it in the country they come from, it's like breathing. Okay, it happens. So what? Not here. Not in the United States. Ain't nothing normal about that shit, right? So, of course, they got snatched up, deported, and, El Salvador, the El Salvadoran president, extended his hand and said, hey, I got a place and a bed space for everyone. They're definitely consolidated, so there's plenty of room. Now, I see Trump took the opportunity to send the first batch there. Will there be more people sent there? I'm sure there will, for temporary housing. Now, what I'm being told is these guys got a year before they are placed somewhere else. It's definitely temporary holding. But there's a lot of people there, the guys that are actually from El Salvador, that are never getting out. These guys are given life without trial. It is a crazy situation. I could only imagine being snatched up off that plane or that bus, being shaved bald and thrown into these cells amongst real hardcore gang members that have a whole different mentality. Now, for the bleeding hearts, the people that are saying this is inhumane, it absolutely is inhumane. It is. Okay, and that's only because we're used to the rules and regulations of the United States, how comfortable we got it here. That's why so many people want to come into the country, because they're afforded job opportunities, free education with public schooling, right? There's a lot of different opportunities you can't get in these other countries. And that's why a massive amount of people want to come to the United States. It's not because they love the American people. It's not because they love 7-Eleven or Walmart. It's because they're afforded different opportunity and they come from impoverished places and places where gangs and warlords and even governments, man, are at war and they're doing their fucking people harm. They're not looking out for their own people. So, of course, they come to the United States with hopes of working and having a better place in their life. I respect that. I come from my lineage. I come from, my grandfathers that worked hard, toiled in that soil, were able to buy homes, buy new vehicles, and they were paisas. They were straight from Zacatecas and Juarez. So I got love for the Mexicano people, the paisas, the Mexican nationals coming over. But there's also, we have to keep it real here. There's a reality here is there's a lot of other people coming over that have bad intentions. They don't want to work. They don't want to fucking support the community or pay taxes. They want to come over, get what they can get, and get on, right? Those are the people that need to be snatched up. Those are the people that need to a reality, a wake up, right? There's a super prison for everybody. Okay? I'm a firm believer, and I had this discussion with Dubs. We almost argued over this discussion because we have two different ways of thinking, right? He believes in rehabilitation. I understand that. I lightweight believe in that too. You want to help people to be a better version of themselves because it happens. I'm a way better version of myself. If you would have met me 15 years ago, you would not have liked me, right? And I'm just being honest with you. That's still instilled. It's still somewhere deep down inside. I still can get active, right? But I choose not to because I put my family, my children, my loved ones, my mentality and my love for my community first, right? I didn't in the past. In the past, I put the gang, I put myself. I was a very selfish individual. One of the most selfish individuals ever to come out of my area, the West. A lot of people that are from my era will tell you that motherfucker right there, right? That's all they'll say because they don't want to get fucking. But I'll say this, right? A lot of these people that come over with bad intentions do need to get snatched up. Like I said, Dubs believes in rehabilitation. I believe there has to come a time and a place where you have to realize that a person is not able to be rehabilitated. That's not what they want. They continue to push the narrative of gangbanging. They continue to push the narrative of being selfish. And you have to realize, and it's not about giving up on people, but people, if you can't help someone that isn't going to help themselves, that's how I feel. If they don't come to the mindset or the realization that, man, you could be sent over to a super prison, your head shaved bald, kicked in the ass, and have your dick up against someone's ass cheeks, that ain't right, right? But that is what is happening. And people will still continue to go out and commit murders. They'll still continue. You want to know why? Because in the United States, you get a slap on the wrist. You get afforded a public defender. You get proper fucking a trial, right? And not all the time is it going to work out in your favor, but you get 3 hots in a cot. You get housed, segregated if you got issues. I mean, there's a lot of different things that you're afforded as a criminal, whereas in these countries, they're showing you that ain't the way it is. Now, is it right for Trump to be sending people that got snatched up in America over there? There's going to be people that argue, no, it's not right. If they are being snatched up in America, they need due process and they need to be held in America and afforded that right. I agree, right? I agree. But at the same time, this president, this administration is going to do whatever the hell he wants to do. I mean, he took off running with this immigration policy. Did not wait. It's not because it's a racial thing. It's not because there's a prejudice thing. It's because this is a promise he made to the people. Now, do I agree with everything that's happening? No. You have to understand when you're dealing with ICE, when you're dealing with cops, everyone has their own attitude and their own ways of thinking. There are going to be some people that treat people harshly. There are going to be some guys in the ICE uniforms, man, that go to schools and fuck with people and their families and separate families. There's going to be that, okay? But the majority of the people that are being snatched up are guys that come over or came over illegally to cause chaos and start establishing gangs. Now, we have enough gangs in America as it is. There's no more room for new gangs, okay? What we need to do as a society, as people, is deal with what we got on our plate first. That's why there's a lot of firm believers in stop sending money to this country or that country or this war-torn country or these people that are at war, and worry about our fentanyl crisis, our homelessness, our things that we got going on in America. I believe that shit. I'm a true and firm believer. Now, when I seen these guys get snatched up, all I could say was, wow, okay, wow. Fuck, man. And it made me think. And I had a conversation with Dubs, and I said, man, do you ever think that they could do this to American citizens? Of course, he said no. He's very educated. And he said no, and I'm going to explain to you why. That would open up a whole can of worms. Because I said, me being the way I am, you guys already know, I was like, send SPM and Marvelous over there, right? That straight up. Like, get rid of all these dudes. P. Diddy, see you later. You're in El Salvador, man, with the fucking dude from 18th Street with his dick in your ass. I don't care, right? Shout out 18, the ones in LA, right? So I was like, I don't know. To me, if you're a weirdo, or if you got if you're just, you can't be rehabilitated, get the fuck up out of here. And he said no, because then that opens up a whole new can of worms. What it does is it opens up the doors to start sending anyone who's a gang member, anyone who doesn't even have that type of crime. And I understood that. I understood, man. When you set a precedent or lay a demo down, then that just opens the doors for, more and more, and they'll push the envelope. So, as far as these guys being housed in El Salvador, if they truly are what they are saying they are, guys that came over and that are committing crime, and guys that are coming over and they're, hurting babies and women and older people, then yeah, get rid of them. Say la vie, fuck you, right? I don't care, Pikachu, right? But if they're just utilizing this as a tactic to send anybody and everybody, then I don't agree. I don't agree, man. And the reality is, though, in El Salvador, they're going to do what they want to do. It's a different country. Obviously, the people of El Salvador, the citizens, the people that count, right? Not the gang members, not the people that are committing crime, but the people in society that are doing good and working jobs. They've all been vocal, and they appreciate that president stepped up and handled his business. Now, could we ever see something like this happen in, say, California or Chicago or the United States, period? No, but they're definitely setting a precedent. I don't believe, because America has a constitution that we have to go by. And of course, man, you can't be inhumane to people. But I've been in some pretty inhumane situations. I could explain to you, man, when I was young and I was in the youth authority, there was a lot of things going on there to the inmates, to the wards, to the convicts, or whoever, right? There was a lot of bad stuff happening, and there was nobody that wanted to help. There was nobody that would even bat an eye to help someone that was getting drugged in a cell and beat and stabbed and bad things happening to their backsides. There was no one to help them. Okay? You had to fight. You had to be a warrior. You had to understand and realize you were on your own. There was no politician trying to help us as kids. There was no one fucking trying to rehabilitate us. They were packing us in this place with other gang members, handing us knives literally and telling us handle our business. Just don't do it on my shift because I don't want to do paperwork. And that's the truth of the matter. You see what just happened in Los Padrinos, Juvenile Hall? Well, that shit's been happening. That wasn't news to me. That wasn't news breaking. Was it newsworthy? Yes. Anytime children are involved, yes, it is. But it didn't blow my mind. I wasn't mind blown. I've been seeing it happen, right? Do I agree with sending these guys to a different country that they're not from? No. But again, things like this have been happening. If you understand the prison system, even in California, then you understand that there's private prisons in Oklahoma, Arizona, and there was prisoners taken from their state that they were convicted in, their home state, and shipped to Oklahoma. Some of them against their will. Some wanted to go just because you got different incentives, but they were sent against their will to Arizona, to Oklahoma, to Mississippi, to several other prisons that were private prisons, privately funded and privately ran, right? So that right there in itself, it's been going on. Now, another country, yeah, that's a little bit of a different animal. But at the end of the day, times are changing. Things are changing. Don't be too quick to judge the government on what they're doing. Make them aware. Hold them accountable. As a voter, you have every right to do that, to speak. That's your constitutional right. But at the end of the day, understand that this administration and everyone is going to do exactly what they feel is in the best interest of themselves or the United States. So when I see people being sent over there, yeah, it's fucked up, man. Snatching you up off the fucking shit, cutting your hair, fucking putting you in calzones. It's crazy. But then I think back into when I was in the youth authority, right? And we'd have a riot. Here's a true story. And the way I see, like on the thumbnail, you see these guys snatched up and they're like that. They did us exactly the same way. This ain't the first time I seen this. See, I have flashbacks. I remember being on something called the freeze where we were fed 2 cheese sandwiches and a milk 3 times a day. We're lucky we got that. And we were in our boxers, stripped all the way down, laid down on our bunks, on our stomachs all day, all night long for months at a time. True stories. Those that have been through it will tell you exactly what I tell you. And it looked exactly how it looks in El Salvador. So no, I don't have no sympathy for these guys that are going through that, because when I was young, no one was sympathetic for us. Doesn't mean, oh man, you're just mad because no. If you're committing crime, you're going to do your time. Let me know what you guys think. With that being said, thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I truly believe in. That's keeping it real and being real to my people. The gun. Bang, bang.